Alright, so I'm trying to start a new series called Today in Therapy, and I'm really poor at doing vlogging, but I want to get better, so here we are. So I am a recreation therapist that works in mental health, and every day I do different groups, and the goal for me every day is just to motivate others and to provide a group that can be a change or a catalyst for change, almost like planting a seed. So that's kind of my goal every day when I come to work. So every day when I come to work, that's what I set out for. So a lot of the stuff I teach is motivational based, and so I spent a lot of my life studying these things, and that's kind of from where I start, is how can I motivate others to make a change? Okay, so today my therapeutic group was one to deal with Stephen Covey, and he teaches about the 7 habits of highly effective people. I really fell in love with that book early in my life, probably high school, maybe early college is when I found it, but it's been a long time. And so that was probably the first leadership or self-help book that really guided my life. And the principle that he teaches is one of priorities. And so when I think about priorities, that's something that I hope that inspire anybody that priorities are really important. And the way that he teaches it is different than I teach it now, but it's pretty similar. I still teach that there's a bucket that represents this big plastic bucket that represents the time of your life. And there's a pile of rocks, maybe say 7 or 8 big rocks. There's a pile of pebbles, and there's a pile of sand. And all those things should be able to fit in the bucket. And so the way that it's taught is that the person comes up and they're told that all these things could fit in the bucket, and the person puts the sand in there because it's small. They put the pebbles in the bucket because, those are small too. And then they find, oh no, I can only fit 2 of my big rocks into that bucket, and everything else doesn't fit. But the person promised it'll all fit. Okay. So the person goes back learning a lesson and reminded that, hey, remember to put the most important things first. And so that person comes back, puts those big rocks in there first, and then they find, oh, okay, the pebbles can fit in there as well if I shake it up and they go in between the cracks. And then they figure out, oh, the sand can fit in there too because they fit in between the cracks of the pebbles. So they shake the jar and everything fits. So that is to say that, as Stephen Covey would say, is that when you put the most important things first, put the first things first is the big deal. So put your most important priorities, the things you think are important, put those first in your life, especially your life, meaning your day, because that's all we have. And so when we put the most important things in our day first, then everything else seems to drop into place. Now, I take this a little bit further, and I want people to think about it is, what are the sand in your life? What are those things that we, don't really matter? Because if we put the sand and the pebbles first, we have no room for our big priorities. So I think when we put the sand, that would represent to me time wasters. And that's a majority of my life and your life. I mean, we're on YouTube right now. It's those things that don't really matter, but that take up a lot of our time. I would also throw into that quickly the idea that addiction is sand. So any addictive thing that's taking away from your life, taking away from your priorities, that's sand. We want to maybe not put that first. And that's the hard thing. But that's the thing that we're supposed to try to work towards, I feel. And so that's kind of what that has taught me in my life. And as an artist, I'm an artist, if you didn't know. That's my main love, is making art and trying to tell a story. But if I put social media, if I put YouTube and scrolling or watching Netflix for hours and hours ahead of art, then I'll never be an artist. I'll never make a piece of art. And I've done that. I've been there, I've done that. And I do that often, and I have to remind myself often that, hey, I'm an artist. That's one of my big rock priorities. And when I remind myself of that, I tend to stick to it better. And so I challenge you guys to think about your own priorities. Some are universal, but some are specific to you. Like being an artist is specific to me. And being a therapist, recreation therapist, is specific to me. So I'll put those as priorities. I challenge you to think of your priorities this week. That's the thing I'm trying to do here, is grow the things that I know and give it to other people. And I'm really in this point in my life where I feel like that's an important thing to do. So if you need any help, seeking advice, let me know. And I'll talk to you next week. Thanks.